Hey, what's up, guys? It is August 18th, Monday. We're 17 days away from the start of the NFL season, and I'm just getting super pumped over here. Been putting things together for fantasy football leagues. I've been working in my dynasty league, and now I'm excited to be making my first six-man on Prizepicks. This is season-long picks. Love to do these every year, and yeah, I'm going to break down all these plays for you. Also in the video, I'm going to show you guys how, if you would like, you can get a free month in our premium Discord. I'm going to do that at the end of the video after I break down the picks, but this is going to be different than the others. It's not going to be just selecting one of you. So stick around to the end and I'll show you guys how you can get a free month starting as soon as you reach out to me. These are the plays that I'm excited about for the season-long picks. Do not have access to Outlier. I'm not going to be able to break these down the same way that I normally do. I still have access to Outlier. They just don't have season-long, data on their platform. So I'm just going to use Sleeper, and I'm going to use a little bit of Fantasy Pros, and we're going to break all these down. But this is what I'm going with for the season-long picks. Going to be taking Josh Allen over 38.5 passing and rushing touchdowns. We're going to go George Kittle over 899.5 receiving yards. Zach Charbonnet over 4.5 rushing touchdowns. Jordan Addison over 625.5 receiving yards. Bijan Robinson over 1575.5 rushing and receiving yards. And Jamar Chase over 1299.5 receiving yards. So yeah, let's just start breaking it down. If you guys don't mind, do me a favor, like the video, drop me a comment, let me know how your summer's been, and yeah, we're gonna just start getting into it. So I hope you guys have had a great summer. I know I've been away all summer, but I'm really excited to be back and to be going into the fall, ready to cover NFL and NBA again. So let's start with Josh Allen here. So with the rushing and receiving touchdowns, this one there's not like a whole lot to break down other than he just does this all the time. He's exceeded this line. What are we getting at again? 38.5. He's exceeded this. Let's count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons straight. He just finds a way. I'm not really concerned about the fact that, Khalil Shakir has been like kind of dealing with some minor injury type stuff, and they don't, he's technically their wide receiver one. We'll see if like Dalton Kincaid sees a little bit more love this year, but it's always just the Josh Allen show. So if we look last year, he had 28 touchdowns passing and 12 rushing. So whenever there's like a little bit of a decline in the passing touchdowns, he just makes it up on the ground. The year before that, in 2023, he had 29 passing touchdowns and 15. So if we do the math here, we're looking at like last year, what would that be? So he hit 40 total last year. Year before that, 44. Year before that, 42. And then we got 42 again, and then we've got 45. So honestly, this is just kind of a no-brainer. I think that the Buffalo Bills are going to put points on the board, and so I've just got to take this over, and I want a little bit of both just in case he doesn't go for double-digit rushing touchdowns. I think he'll make it up with passing touchdowns because he's going to be connected to just about every way that they score the ball. James Cook will get some love and run a few in. He actually had a bunch of touchdowns last year, and Allen still got in for 12 on the ground, and some of those to James Cook will be passing touchdowns too. So this line just seems too low for me. So that's kind of where I started. I was just kind of shocked that it's as low as it is at just 38.5. So yeah, moving on to George Kittle. So if we take a look at George Kittle with this receiving yards, first of all, he's done this in back-to-back seasons, and honestly, there's not a lot of props that I don't like of George Kittle's, but I decided to go with the receiving yards, over the 899, I believe is what we got it at. Yeah, so we need him to hit 900 receiving yards, and so back-to-back years, so yeah, 2023, he went for 1,020 on 65 receptions, and then he went for 1,100 last year on 78 receptions. Now, we also have Deebo Samuel is gone. You've got Brandon Ayuk probably going to be out for half the season, at least 6 weeks, I'm guessing. And we just don't know because we've been up in the air with Brandon Ayuk forever now. You know, it's like he seems like he's close to coming back, and then it's pushed out even further. So I'm not counting on him coming back. Ricky Pearsall is going to be awesome for fantasy this year. That dude is a stud. And I mean, to do what he did, have a couple explosive games last year after sustaining a gunshot to like the chest or wherever he got shot. But I think that he is going to replace the Deebo Samuel role. And then we also have Juwan Jennings. But again, Pearsall is not going to, like, what I'm getting at here is George Kittle is going to be the number one target. I think he and Brock Purdy have really just gotten better and better year after year. And Ricky Pearsall is going to do great. I think he's eventually going to find his stride, and it seems like he's probably close to 100% at this point. You never know if he's going to be able to play 17 games total. But Juwan Jennings, I don't know if he's actually dealing with a little bit of an injury, because we know he was barking about a new contract, who I also think he's good. But I think if anybody wide receiver wise is going to be like the wide receiver one, I think it's going to be Ricky Pearsall. But Juwan Jennings, if he's fully healthy, I still don't think that really cuts into what George Kittle is going to be able to do. They just paid him, gave him a massive contract. They still believe that he's got a lot of gas left in the tank at 31 years old. And we know that tight ends can stay relevant up into their mid 30s. If you look at Travis Kelce, I know that he's not exactly like your prototypical tight end, but George Kittle is right up there with the athleticism and the career and whatnot. So I think at 31, with all of these targets just going away, essentially, we have Christian McCaffrey should be good to go. And that's also, I think he's going to just dominate fantasy if he stays healthy, but we just don't know. All that being said, give me George Kittle for hitting 900 yards. And I did a little bit of math on this one. I'll show you guys, I'll talk to you guys about my notes. So if you look at his years in his full career, his worst yards per catch were 11.98. So just under 12 yards per catch. So if you take 900 and you divide that by 11.98, if he just hits his absolute floor, which is his rookie year, he can still do that on 75 receptions. So I think, like, if you look at some of his games, if you look at what he's been actually averaging the last couple of years, 15.69 in 2023, 14.18 in 2024, and if you do the math there, I had a bunch of different little mathematical equations that I made, but he should be able to do this on like under 70 receptions if he's averaging anywhere near what he's been averaging. And I think, he's got more of an opportunity this year than he's ever had to just be the number one target for Brock Purdy. And so, yeah, I'm feeling good about it. Like I said, if you take that 900 line and you go with the 11.98 his rookie year, it would be 75 receptions. So the reason I chose the yards over the receptions is because I think the receptions were set at like 70.5 or 71.5. And so, yeah, I think that he's going to hit the yards. I just think the yards are a little bit more secure than hoping that the receptions get there. But I'm not going to be surprised if he hits his receptions as well. But he's a beast yards after the catch, and we know that he can actually catch the ball pretty far downfield as well. He's due for a monster season. So feeling really good about that. So Zach Charbonnet. We just need him to get 5 rushing touchdowns on the season. I don't know if you guys have been watching the Seahawks this preseason, but their O-line looks amazing. Everybody on the roster who plays the running back position is just eating in these preseason games. And it's been kind of a little bit of a surprise because I haven't personally heard a lot of a buzz about major upgrades to the Seahawks offensive line, at least not in the sense that I wasn't expecting to see them just have their way through these preseason games. And so Kenneth Walker, he's back at practice. He should be healthy and ready to go. But I don't think Kenneth Walker is playing 17 games. He just never does. And on top of that, Clint Kubiak is talking about getting Zach Charbonnet more involved. So if they want to keep Kenneth Walker healthy for, the full season, they're going to have to, they've got Zach Charbonnet, who should be an RB1 somewhere, and he's just stuck behind Kenneth Walker. So I'm thinking if you look back last year on his opportunities, the games that he actually got the start. So we've got like week 2 and week 3. Week 2, he played 96% of snaps and he got in for a touchdown. And then week 3, he played 84% of snaps and he got 2 touchdowns. So we're like more than halfway there. I'm not saying he's guaranteed to do this, but their offensive line looks better now than it did last year. We even have games where he wasn't getting starting reps, but they were still bringing him in to just punch the ball in. So yeah, like 45% of snaps in week 8, he still got in for a touchdown. 45% of snaps in week 13 got in for a touchdown. And then he got another start in week 14, 80% of snaps, he gets in for 2 touchdowns. And then another start in week 15, he gets in for another touchdown. So we just need 5 total. If Kenneth Walker ends up, I hope he doesn't, but if he ends up actually sustaining some sort of injury that keeps him out for an extended period of time, 5 touchdowns is going to be easy. But I think that this is the type of thing where with Clint Kubiak's approach and the better O-line, there's just too much upside with him only needing to get 5 touchdowns. And I think that he's gonna get there. Even if we have Kenneth Walker healthy for 17 weeks, it's not crazy to think Zach Charbonnet could go out there and goal line work, and they're trying to like save Kenneth Walker, keep him healthy. So you guys get what I'm saying. I just think that I love the odds of this one hitting here with Zach Charbonnet. So Jordan Addison, so he's suspended for 3 games. No big deal. To me, no big deal. Like we need him to hit 626 yards total. That dude can easily hit that. And I think as soon as he gets back, he's going to be able to just jump right back into the type of usage that he had before, because they don't have anyone else that can replace him. He's not Justin Jefferson, but he's the perfect like 1-2 punch to go with Justin Jefferson. And if you look at like what he means to this team, as a rookie, he had 10 touchdowns. Everyone called it like a fluke. He just got lucky as a rookie. And then he comes back in his sophomore year and gets 9 touchdowns. So through 2 years, he has 19 touchdowns. And he's super impressive. He's not as big of a wide receiver, but he's got some strength there, 5'11". He's not like the shortest dude. He's a little bit taller than me, but 175 pounds, but he plays bigger than his size. And here's a little bit of math that I was just kind of like, excited about, in the sense of like we need him to hit 626 yards. So let's say he stays healthy. He plays 14 games out of the 17, the 3 suspensions, if he needs to hit 626, that averages 45 yards per game. And so that's not asking too much. Now, if we take a look at his history here, both years that he's played in the NFL, he's had two games in each season that he eclipsed 100 yards. He had 123. So what year am I on? So this is 2023. Let's go to 2024. So we're just last year. So if we take a look here, week 12, he goes for 162 yards. And then week 14, he goes for 133 yards. So we got 2 games over 100. And then 2023, his rookie season, he also had 2 games over 100 yards. So week 7, 123 yards, and then week 15, 111 yards. So if we can just count on him having 2 out of 14 games where he hits at least 100 yards, for the remaining 12 games, he would only, and that's not him going way over like we saw in some of these games. This is exactly hitting 100 on the dot. For the remaining 12 games, he needs to average 36 yards a game. So I think that this is just, and we also have they've got JJ McCarthy's line for passing yards. The line that Vegas has it at is 3,600. So they've got I'm blanking here. Why? Justin Jefferson. Too many JJs. But Justin Jefferson's line's at 1,300. So 3,600 yards, that puts us down to 2,300 yards. Who is going to take on the rest of that? Like the 2,300 over those remaining 14 games when Jordan Addison gets back. Do you think that TJ Hawkinson is going to have a massive year and maybe hit 1,000. You still have 1,300 yards to account for. Jalen Naylor, who is going to 625.5 just seems too low. Jordan Addison is going to, serve his suspensions, and then he's going to come out, and he's going to have, in my opinion, a couple of games where he hits at least 100 yards. God forbid we have one of these games like he did in week 12 where he goes for 162. Any of these games where he's stacking up, that's just making that amount much smaller that we're looking to hit. So you get what I'm saying. 2 games over 100 yards on the season, then the remaining 12, he just needs to average 36 yards a game. I think he's going to totally be able to do that. All right, let's keep it moving. So Bijan Robinson. We've all been saying his name wrong. It's Bijan, apparently. And dude's good. I want to show him respect, say his name right. But yeah, so his line, we got this at 1575.5. So we need him to get to 1,576 total yards, which he can totally do. If we take a look at the history here, so his rookie year, he went for 976 yards on the ground and 487 through the air. So what is that? 13, do some quick math. So 1463, I believe we're at. So he had 1463 rookie year, 214 rush attempts. And then you've got last year where he had 304 rush attempts, even with a bunch of games where we're like, if you're a Bijan Robinson owner like I am in Dynasty, there was plenty of games where you're just watching him on the sideline and you're just saying like, why is Tyler Algier getting all of these carries right now? And Tyler Algier is also someone I think kind of like Zach Charbonnet, where he's really good. I don't have as much confidence in him as I do Zach Charbonnet, but I do think that he could earn his way into top dog somewhere on another team. But Bijan has that pass catching upside as well. And even if you look at this note from Sleeper, this is like a couple weeks old, but it was kind of, training camp. They were talking about how he's been spending extended time working with the wide receivers. We saw like some videos of him catching deep balls. I'm not saying it's going to be crazy like that, but this dude wants to be Christian McCaffrey. He works out with the McCaffreys. He's always been kind of trying to model his game after that. So he's an exceptional pass catcher. Yeah, if you consider, getting over 400 receiving yards as a running back in every year that he's been in the game, it should be solid. Now, the one thing that we have to consider is we've got Penix as the quarterback one now for them, and these last 3 games of last year, week 16, 17, and 18, it was Michael Penix. So if you take a look here, I think that the pass catching actually wasn't as solid. He got a ton of work. He got a ton of carries. Week 16, 22. So you got 22 carries, 17 carries, 28 carries. The dude just always averages good yards per carry. He had 4.27, 5.29, and 6.07 yards per carry. But if you look here, it just the activity as with pass catching wasn't that great. And that might also be why he was spending extended time with the wide receivers. Maybe not just for Bijan, but maybe they want to get Penix, comfortable with the chemistry. And I think Penix is going to be awesome. I think that the Atlanta Falcons are going to be really fun for fantasy on the offensive side. The other thing, as far as pass catching goes, is you're talking about a defense here. The Atlanta Falcons ranked 25th according to Fantasy Pros. I think they're pretty solid. When we think about the Cincinnati Bengals, we think about it's just the perfect recipe for fantasy football. You've got Joe Burrow, probably the most competent, non-rushing quarterback in the league. Just in the pocket, just passing it out to everybody. And but their defense is also terrible. So they win games by putting up a ton of points. And these are the kind of games we want to target for fantasy, games that are almost always shootouts. Even the Dallas Cowboys should be interesting this year because we don't know if Micah Parsons is going to stay. Maybe he will, but their defense didn't look great anyways. But you also have the addition of George Pickens. So you have a defense that can't really stop their opponents. And then you've got an offense that has firepower. So that's why we like the Cowboys. That's why we like the Cincinnati Bengals. And I think that we might get a little bit of that with the Atlanta Falcons, with their defense not really looking so hot. And then we've got, one of the best pass catching backs who's getting a ton of work, on that team. And so I'm excited for it. I think he could easily get over this, considering last year he had 1456 on the ground alone. So I don't think we're going to see a huge regression in the attempts. I think they're continuing to build this out. And even if we have a little bit of a slow start, we saw, again, some of the Tyler Algier frustrations last year. And if you look at all these games where he was getting 60, 50% of snaps, it's still, I think that if we're a little bit behind, we will hit it in the final stretch here. But I'm excited to have pieces of the Falcons this year for fantasy. Like I said, I have Bijan in my dynasty league, but I think he's going to crush this line personally. Barring, all of these are barring injury. If any of these guys get injured, obviously that messes up our slip. But 1575.5, I'll take that all day. All right, let's wrap it up with Ja'Marr Chase, who's just an absolute monster, obviously. So let's break this down. So we need him to hit 1,300 yards. All right. So last year, his rookie season, he went for 1,455, which is just an unbelievable debut. And then last year we have him going for 1,708. He had 175 targets, 127 receptions. This one, let me see if I made a note here. So, okay, so let's break it down. I'm kind of making this longer than it needs to be, but so we've got Ja'Marr Chase. So he had 5 games over 100 yards last year. And some of these games were crazy. So week 3, 118 yards. Week 5 against Baltimore, of all people, 193 yards. So that's almost 200-yard games in one that would be going towards what we're looking for. Now, speaking of which, next time he plays Baltimore in week 10, 264 yards. Just unbelievable. And then we've got week 14 against Dallas, 177 yards. And let's count it up one more time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so we got 5 games where he eclipsed 100 yards. Defense is, I think this is just going to be a repeat. We've got T. Higgins, who's, signed his contract, no drama there. They've got, probably the 2 best wide receivers as far as a tandem goes in the league. But we know T. Higgins does get hurt. He kind of has a little bit of a Kenneth Walker type thing going on where he just can't stay healthy. So there will be some games where it's just him, but Ja'Marr Chase is the guy. T. Higgins, if anything, probably helps Ja'Marr Chase because he actually is a threat. But let's just do a little bit of math here. If we need him to hit 1,300 yards, and let's say, I'm not saying it's a guarantee, but I think Ja'Marr Chase is probably going to have 5 games this season, if he doesn't get injured, with at least 100 yards. And even if he has 4, if one of those is 193 or 264, something crazy like that, and he does Ja'Marr Chase things again, we can account for 500 yards total from spike games. That brings our total down. So let's say it does take 5 games for him to cover 500. That leaves us with 12 games to cover 800 yards. He needs to get 67 yards a game on average in those other games that aren't monster Ja'Marr Chase weeks. 67 yards. He just played in the preseason. I know he's not playing against starters and stuff, but he had in the first half, what was it? I think he had 4 catches. He didn't play the whole game, but 4 catches for 71 yards. I think he's just about to absolutely go off again. So again, 5 games over 100 brings our total down to 800 that we need to get over the remaining 12 games. He needs to average 67 yards a game. And that's if he doesn't have a couple of those where he's hitting 200 yards. So I loved this just overall. And a lot of Ja'Marr Chase's looked good too. I thought his receptions looked good. I thought his touchdowns looked good. But really these yards, I could not ignore that. I think he's going to crush this line personally. So Anyways, that covers the slip. Now let's talk about the Discord, if you guys want to come join us. Essentially what we're going to do, we've got 3 extra analysts in here. They've been active still. I've honestly just been taking the summer off, working on being a dad and finishing up some school that I'm doing and whatnot. But I'm getting myself prepped for football, so I will be in there very active really soon. But if you like playing WNBA and baseball and other things, these guys are still playing that in there. Yeah, so what we're gonna do is you just email me at JRUSSO bdfs@gmail.com. If you want to come join our Discord, I'm going to give you a month free. We can start getting into a little bit of prep if you guys want to talk fantasy football, if you have drafts coming up and whatnot. But a month free just to get thing going for NFL. And so it's as simple as that. There's no contest this time. There's no like leave a comment and I'm going to choose somebody. It's literally just like, I'm excited. I want to celebrate with you guys. I've been away for a while, so shoot me an email at JRUSSOBDFS. I'll get your info and you can have a free month in the Discord. It's as simple as that. So I hope you guys have all been well. Definitely, if you don't mind, do me a favor, help me out with the algorithm. Give me a like, drop me a comment if you feel like it. We'll get back into the groove here and I'll be covering all the slates individually as we get closer. But we are doing some preseason stuff in the Discord. I've been putting some preseason slips in there just for fun for now, just kind of get the blood flowing. But I really appreciate you guys so much. I hope you have a great week and I'll catch you in the next one.